They laughed at the rumor. Everyone in the building did. Because the building had only 12 floors. At least. That's what the official documents said. When Daniel Carter moved into the Riverview Heights apartment complex, he thought it was perfect. Affordable rent, quiet neighborhood, nice city view, too perfect. The building was old but elegant. Tall concrete walls, dim hallway lights, and an elevator that creaked like it was remembering something it wished it could forget. Daniel lived on the 9th floor. His first week there was normal. Work, dinner, sleep, nothing strange. Until the first night he noticed the elevator buttons. It happened around 1:47 a.m. Daniel had woken up thirsty. The kitchen sink had no water that night because of maintenance, so he decided to go down to the lobby vending machine. The hallway was silent, too silent. Only the soft humming of electricity filled the air. He pressed the elevator button. The doors opened slowly with a metallic groan. Inside the elevator, the light flickered. Daniel stepped in and looked at the panel. 1, 2, 3, 4. All the way down to lobby. And above 12, there was another button. A black button, and labeled --. Daniel frowned. That's weird, he muttered. Every building skips the number 13. But this was different. There was no number at all. Just a black circle button. Curious, Daniel pressed lobby. The elevator began descending. 12, 11, 10. But suddenly the elevator stopped. The lights flickered. Then the panel lit up with something Daniel had never seen before. A number appeared above 12. 13. Daniel's stomach dropped. He never pressed it, yet the elevator was going up. The doors opened slowly. Daniel stood frozen. The hallway outside looked wrong. The lights were dim and yellow. The carpet was old and stained. The walls were cracked. It looked like the building had aged 100 years. A cold wind moved through the hallway. But there were no open windows. Daniel whispered, "Hello." No answer. Only the sound of something dragging, far away. He stepped out. The hallway stretched longer than it should. The apartment numbers looked faded. 1301, 1302, 1303. But according to the building layout, there was no 13th floor. Suddenly, a door slowly creaked open. Apartment 1307. Darkness poured from inside. Then Daniel heard a whisper. Very soft, very close. "Why did you come here?" Daniel spun around. No one was behind him. His heartbeat exploded in his chest. The elevator doors were still open. He ran back inside and pressed lobby repeatedly. The doors closed. The elevator dropped fast. Too fast. His ears popped as it rushed down. When the doors opened again, he was in the lobby. Everything looked normal. Bright lights. Clean floor. A security guard at the desk. Daniel stumbled out. The guard looked confused. "You okay, man?" Daniel stared at him. What floor is above 12? The guard laughed. "There isn't one." Daniel shook his head. "No, I just came from it. Floor 13. The guard's smile disappeared. Slowly. Very slowly. He leaned closer and whispered. "Listen carefully. There is no 13th floor in this building. Because the last time it existed, people never came back. Daniel's blood ran cold. People. The guard nodded. 10 years ago, residents reported the same thing. The elevator stopped on a floor that didn't exist. And those who stepped out. He paused. They disappeared. Daniel laughed nervously. "That's impossible." But the guard didn't smile. Instead he asked quietly, "Tell me something." Daniel swallowed. "What?" The guard's eyes looked terrified. "Did you step out?" Daniel slowly nodded. The guard's face turned pale, and he whispered the words Daniel would never forget. "Then it already knows you." Daniel felt something cold in his pocket. He reached inside, pulled out his phone. The screen was cracked, but he never dropped it. Then he noticed something worse. There was a photo in his gallery. A photo he never took. It showed the hallway of the 13th floor. And standing at the end of the corridor was a tall dark figure. Watching him. At that exact moment, the lobby elevator dinged. Daniel slowly turned his head. The elevator doors opened. Empty. But the panel inside was glowing. and one button was lit. 13. Dash dash dash. Then a whisper echoed through the lobby. Right behind Daniel's ear. Come back tonight. Dash dash dash. Daniel didn't sleep that night. Because he realized something terrifying. The elevator never went to the 13th floor during the day. Only after 1:47 a.m. And tonight, it would appear again, waiting for him. Daniel didn't sleep that night. How could he? Every time he closed his eyes, he saw the photo on his phone again. The dark hallway, the cracked walls, the shadowy figure at the end of the corridor. Watching him, waiting. Dash dash dash. It was now 12:58 a.m. Daniel sat on the edge of his bed staring at the elevator camera feed on his phone. The building had a small resident security app that showed lobby cameras. He didn't know why he kept watching it. Maybe he was hoping to prove that what happened last night was just a dream. But deep inside, he knew it wasn't. Dash dash dash. 1:12 a.m. The lobby was quiet. The security guard from earlier was gone. A different guard sat at the desk now, scrolling through his phone. Everything looked normal. Too normal. Dash dash dash. 1:34 a.m. Daniel stood up. His heart was racing. He walked toward the apartment door and placed his hand on the handle. He didn't want to go. But something inside him felt like it was pulling him toward the elevator. Almost like the building itself wanted him there. Dash dash dash. 1:45 a.m. The hallway lights flickered once. Then twice. Daniel stepped outside his apartment. The hallway was completely silent. Even the usual humming sound of the building's electricity had stopped. It felt like the entire building was holding its breath. Dash dash dash. Then he heard it. Ding. The elevator had arrived. But Daniel never called it. Slowly. Very slowly. He walked toward the elevator doors. They opened by themselves. Inside, the elevator light flickered weakly. And the panel glowed softly. The black button above 12 was visible again. Dash dash dash. Daniel whispered to himself. Don't press it. But his hand slowly moved anyway. He pressed lobby. The elevator began descending. 12, 11, 10. But suddenly, the elevator stopped. The lights went out for 1 second. When they came back on, the panel changed. A number appeared. 13. Dash dash dash. Daniel felt his chest tighten. The elevator began moving up. The metal walls groaned loudly as if they were being dragged somewhere they didn't want to go. Then, ding. The doors opened. Dash dash dash. The hallway was the same as before. But this time, it was darker. The lights were barely glowing. The carpet looked wet. Daniel stepped out slowly. He noticed something new. There were footprints on the floor. Wet footprints, leading down the hallway. And they looked fresh. Dash dash dash. Daniel followed them. His breathing grew heavier with every step. The footprints stopped in front of apartment 1307. The same door that opened yesterday. But now it was completely shut. And something was written on it. Scratched into the wood. Dash dash dash. Don't let it see you. Dash dash dash. Daniel's heart pounded. Who wrote that? He whispered. Suddenly, a voice behind him said quietly. I did. Daniel jumped and turned around. Standing in the hallway was a girl. Maybe 18 or 19 years old. Her clothes looked old, like they were from another time. Her eyes were wide with fear. Dash dash dash. You shouldn't be here, she said. Daniel stared at her. Who are you? My name is Lena. Her voice trembled. I've been stuck here for 8 years. Daniel's mind struggled to process what she said. That's impossible. Lena shook her head. No, the 13th floor isn't a normal place. It appears every night, and disappears before sunrise. And anyone who stays here too long, she looked down the hallway, becomes part of it. Dash dash dash. Daniel swallowed. What do you mean? Lena pointed to the dark end of the corridor. Something lives here. It watches the hallway. It learns who enters. And once it learns your face, it starts hunting. Dash dash dash. A loud thud echoed somewhere in the distance. Both of them froze. Another thud. Closer. Something was moving. Heavy footsteps. Slow. Deliberate. Dash dash dash. Lena whispered urgently. We have to hide. She grabbed Daniel's arm and pulled him toward an apartment. 1305. The door creaked open. They slipped inside and closed it quietly. The room was dusty and abandoned. Furniture was covered in old sheets. The air smelled like mold. Dash dash dash. Outside in the hallway, the footsteps grew louder. Thud, thud, thud. Something massive was walking past the apartment. Daniel held his breath. Lena covered his mouth. Don't make a sound, she whispered. Dash dash dash. The footsteps stopped. Right outside the door. Silence filled the room. Then something scratched slowly against the door. A deep voice whispered from the hallway. Low, inhuman. Dash dash dash. I know you're here. Dash dash dash. Daniel felt cold sweat running down his neck. The handle on the door began to move. Slowly turning. Lena's eyes filled with terror. She whispered, if it sees you, you'll never leave this floor. Dash dash dash. The door suddenly stopped moving. The footsteps continued down the hallway again, fading into the darkness. Dash dash dash. Daniel finally exhaled. What was that thing? Lena looked at him, her voice shaking. That's the reason the 13th floor exists. It feeds on the people who come here. Dash dash dash. Daniel's phone suddenly vibrated. He looked down. There was a new notification. A message from an unknown number. The message read, you can't leave anymore. Dash dash dash. Daniel slowly raised his head. Lena, yes, my phone just got a message. Her face turned pale. What does it say? Daniel showed her the screen. She whispered in horror. Oh no, it already marked you. Dash dash dash. Then something horrifying happened. From outside the apartment, the whisper returned, right next to the door. Dash dash dash. Daniel. Dash dash dash. Daniel froze. His eyes widened. He never told Lena his name. And he never told anyone on this floor. But the voice outside knew it. The voice outside the door whispered again. Daniel. His blood froze. Daniel slowly turned toward Lena. How does it know my name? He whispered. Lena's face was pale with terror. It learns about you, she said quietly. The longer you stay on this floor, the more it understands. The door handle moved again. Slowly, creaking. Lena grabbed Daniel's arm. Don't move. Daniel felt like his heart was going to explode. The door handle turned halfway, then stopped. Silence filled the room. For a moment, it seemed like the thing outside had left. But then, a loud scratching sound dragged across the door, like claws sliding over wood. The deep voice whispered again, right next to the door. Daniel, come out. Daniel held his breath. The creature outside began sniffing. Heavy breathing echoed through the hallway. Then suddenly, the footsteps moved. Away. Thud, thud, thud. The sound faded into the darkness. Dash dash dash. Daniel collapsed into a dusty chair. What is that thing? Lena slowly looked toward the hallway. No one knows what it really is, she said. But people who came here before us called it the Keeper. Daniel frowned. The Keeper. Lena nodded. It guards this floor, and it doesn't let anyone leave. Dash dash dash. Daniel shook his head. But you said you've been here 8 years. Yes. Then how are you still alive? Lena hesitated before answering. I learned how to hide. She walked toward the window. Except the window wasn't normal. Outside the glass, there was no city. No lights. Only darkness. An endless black sky. Daniel felt a chill run down his spine. This isn't the real building, is it? Lena shook her head. No. The 13th floor is something else. A place between worlds. And every night, the elevator opens a door to it. Dash dash dash. Suddenly Daniel heard something strange. A faint crying sound, coming from somewhere in the hallway. A child's voice. Hello. Daniel stood up. Did you hear that? Lena's eyes widened. No. The crying grew louder. Please help me. Daniel walked toward the door. Lena rushed in front of him. Stop. There's a kid out there. Daniel argued. Lena shook her head violently. That's not a kid. Daniel hesitated. What do you mean? That's how it tricks people. The Keeper can mimic voices. Children, friends, family, anything that makes you open the door. Dash dash dash. The crying outside suddenly stopped. The hallway became silent again. Too silent. Then the child's voice changed. Slowly, distorting, becoming deeper, more monstrous. Dash dash dash. Daniel. Dash dash dash. The voice now sounded exactly like him. Daniel's skin crawled. How is it doing that? Lena whispered. It copies the last voice it hears. Dash dash dash. Suddenly a loud crash came from the hallway. Glass shattered somewhere nearby. Daniel peeked through a small crack in the door. What he saw made his entire body freeze. At the end of the corridor, something huge was standing there. At least 8 feet tall. Its body was thin and twisted. Its arms were far too long, dragging on the floor. But the worst part was its face. It didn't have one, just smooth pale skin. Except for one thing. A wide mouth stretching across its head, filled with hundreds of thin black teeth. Dash dash dash. The creature slowly turned its head toward the apartment. Even though it had no eyes, Daniel felt like it was staring directly at him. Dash dash dash. Daniel. The creature whispered again. Dash dash dash. Daniel slammed the door shut. That thing saw me. Lena's face filled with panic. You looked at it, only for a second. That's enough. Her voice trembled. If it knows where you are, it will never stop hunting. Dash dash dash. A loud bang hit the door. The creature had reached the apartment. Another bang shook the entire room. Dust fell from the ceiling. Daniel backed away. It's trying to break in. Lena grabbed his arm. There's only one way out. The elevator. Daniel stared at her. But it's down the hallway. Yes, and if we stay here. She looked toward the door. We die. Dash dash dash. The creature slammed into the door again. The wood cracked. Another hit. The door frame began to split. Daniel took a deep breath. When we open this door, we run. Lena nodded. Don't stop. Don't look back. And whatever you hear, don't answer it. Dash dash dash. The door shattered. Wood exploded inward. The creature's long arm pushed through the opening. Its claws scraped the floor. Searching. Dash dash dash. Now. Lena shouted. They ran. Daniel burst into the hallway. The elevator was at the far end. The creature crawled out of the broken apartment behind them. Its movements were unnatural, its arms bending in ways they shouldn't. It began chasing them. Fast. Too fast. Dash dash dash. Daniel reached the elevator and slammed the button. The doors slowly began to open. But the creature was almost there. Its claws scraped across the carpet as it rushed toward them. Dash dash dash. Come on. Daniel shouted. The doors opened just enough. They jumped inside. Daniel slammed the lobby button. The doors began closing. But just before they shut, a long pale hand slipped inside, stopping them. Dash dash dash. The creature's mouth stretched into a horrifying smile. And it whispered softly. Daniel, you can't leave. The elevator doors tried to close. But the creature's long pale hand was stuck between them. Its claws were curved like knives, gripping the metal edges so the doors couldn't move. Daniel slammed the lobby button again and again. Close, close, he shouted. The elevator motor whined loudly. The doors pushed against the creature's arm. But the thing outside was far stronger. Slowly, the doors began opening again. The creature leaned closer. Its face, if it could be called a face, slid into the narrow gap. That terrible mouth stretched wider. Rows of thin black teeth glistened in the flickering light. Daniel, it whispered. The sound was wet and hollow, like the voice came from a deep cave. Lena grabbed Daniel's arm. We have to force the doors. They both pushed with all their strength. The metal doors pressed harder against the creature's arm. The creature hissed. A horrible, animal-like scream echoed through the hallway. Suddenly, crack, one of its long fingers snapped. Black liquid splashed onto the elevator floor. The creature jerked its arm back in pain. The doors slammed shut instantly. Daniel collapsed against the wall, breathing heavily. The elevator began moving, but instead of going down, it went up. Dash dash dash. The number panel flickered. 13, 14, 15. Daniel stared at the panel in confusion. This building doesn't even have 15 floors. Lena's eyes widened. That means it's taking us deeper. Deeper where? Daniel asked. Lena whispered. Into the place that controls the 13th floor. Dash dash dash. The elevator suddenly stopped. Ding. The doors opened slowly. A cold wind rushed inside. Daniel looked out. The place outside wasn't a hallway anymore. It was a huge dark space. Like the inside of an abandoned underground station. Broken pillars stood everywhere. Old elevator cables hung from the ceiling. The air smelled like rust and rot. And in the center of the room, there was something massive, a giant structure made from twisted metal and cables. It looked like the heart of a machine. But the cables weren't connected to electricity. They were connected to the walls, the ceiling, the floor, and even the elevators. Lena stepped out carefully. "This is the core," she said quietly. Daniel followed her. "The core, yes. The thing that creates the 13th floor." Daniel looked around nervously. "Then if we destroy it, maybe the floor disappears." Lena nodded slowly. "That's what I've been trying to do for years. But the keeper protects it." Daniel's stomach tightened. "The creature, yes. And if we're here," she looked into the darkness. "It already knows." A loud metallic noise echoed across the room. Clang, clang, clang. Heavy footsteps approached from the shadows. Daniel felt his heart stop. The keeper was coming. The creature slowly emerged from the darkness. Its body looked even larger here. Its arms dragged across the ground like giant spider legs. Black liquid dripped from its broken finger. Its mouth opened wide, smiling. "Daniel," it whispered. Again. Daniel stepped backward. "How does it know me?" Lena looked at the giant metal core. Her face suddenly filled with horror. "Daniel, what? The core is learning from you." "What do you mean?" She pointed to the metal structure. Daniel looked closely. His breath caught in his throat. Faces were embedded in the metal. Dozens of them, maybe hundreds. People trapped inside the machine. Their expressions frozen in fear. "They're the missing residents," Lena whispered. "The ones who came to the 13th floor. The core absorbs them, and uses their memories." Daniel felt sick. "That's why it knows my name." "Yes. And once it fully absorbs you, you become part of this place forever." The keeper took another step forward. The ground shook under its weight. Daniel grabbed a loose metal pipe from the floor. "This thing can't be immortal," he said. Lena shook her head. "You can't kill it, but you can slow it down." Daniel tightened his grip on the pipe. "Good enough." The creature lunged forward suddenly. Daniel swung the pipe with all his strength. Clang. The pipe hit the creature's arm. The impact made a loud metallic sound. The creature screamed, but it barely slowed down. Its claws slashed through the air. Daniel jumped backward just in time. The claws struck a pillar instead. The pillar shattered instantly. Daniel, Lena shouted. "The cables." She pointed to the giant metal core. Hundreds of thick cables were connected to it. "If we cut them, the core might weaken." Daniel ran toward the machine. The keeper roared behind him. The ground shook as it chased him. Daniel grabbed one of the cables and pulled. It didn't move. He slammed the metal pipe down on it. Again. Finally. Snap. One cable broke. The core flickered. A deep rumbling sound echoed through the room. The faces inside the metal structure began screaming silently. The keeper shrieked in rage. It rushed toward Daniel even faster now. Daniel raised the pipe again. But the creature was already there. A massive claw grabbed him, lifting him into the air. Daniel struggled desperately. The creature's mouth opened wide, getting closer to his face. Daniel, it whispered softly. "Join us." Lena screamed. She ran to the machine and grabbed another cable. Using a sharp piece of metal, she cut it. Snap. Another cable broke. The core flashed violently. The keeper suddenly jerked in pain. Its grip loosened. Daniel fell to the ground. Cut more. Daniel shouted. Lena nodded. But before she could reach another cable, the core began glowing red. A deep mechanical voice echoed through the chamber. Containment breach detected. The entire structure began shaking. Pieces of metal fell from the ceiling. The elevator behind them suddenly lit up. The doors opened. Lena looked at Daniel. "Daniel, yes, if the core collapses, this entire place will disappear." Daniel stared at her. "That means we can escape." Lena's expression turned sad. "Not both of us."